Hello everybody, J.Yumeko here, and welcome back to The Letter. Last time we left off, we got a little bit more settled down in our mansion, but there seemed to be something coming from the wine cellar. So, without further ado, without further ado, let's jump right on back into it. Yes, we're also feeling a little bit melancholy about our relationship with Luke right now. So, we'll see how that turns out. The scene outside the parlor is a great organized mess. Aside from our own household help, we hired the service of the temp agency which provides staff for right enterprise in the hospitality sector. Even our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and their staff captains move about in droves, carrying crockery and serveware good for several dozen people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johannes, looking like little scared children as he escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar. To pursue the stocks, to select what can be served at the party, and what can be used for cooking. Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails. Snails are for the dishes. A string quartet readies up to play for the evening, tuning their instruments as they fill the air with idle chatter. Floral decor worth thousands fills vases, wreaths, and baskets, while petals are scattered along the driveway up front. An ice sculpture of a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake, just a 5-tier white chiffon, one with white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. But despite the fact that I told Marianne how I will attend to all of this, I find myself unable to focus or care for any of it. I still have our discussion running in my mind, and, looking at all of this, I only see Luke everywhere. These are all the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering, with only a select few invited, namely the people who I would actually trust to enter my home. I do not want any of these bloody politicians or paparazzi in here, no matter how used I am to catering them. At least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke. The entire thing screamed Luke right, and I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always been about him nowadays, isn't it? What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? I used to be my own woman, who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly that I still am today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talent. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me just because my father owned the company. I had insisted that I start at the bottom, so I could work my way to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money and accounts, analysing the competition and market trends. There was the calculation of financial risk, cost reduction and opportunities, auditor license and public relations, supervision of staff, and, well, I generally had a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth craving for my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it was. And Luke, oh Luke, the way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took a genuine interest. He had me disgustingly obsessed since day one, hasn't he? He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, with both my faults and my achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress or some prize to be worn. I remember the nights, before we were married, when we talked about everything and anything. From big things like business, society and philosophy, to little things such as what we had for breakfast, or whether we liked cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? They told me that husbands preferred wives who are docile and subordinate. A woman who will always be there for him, yet will never outshine him in all aspects except beauty. A wife needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children and to take care of them in his absence. They said I have no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society. But I listened. Before I can fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my attention. The guests have arrived, ma'am. And Luke? We're running a bit late, I'm afraid. Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him. Open the doors, then. We mustn't tarry. Cars line up the driveway, peppering in front of the mansion, with vehicles of every kind. Grand Tourers, supercars, even the odd high-end muscle car or two. Convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen, being parked by valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it's too troublesome to bring their own cars. There are at least 2 different media vans as well. They're all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxembourg. I almost said Luxembourg. Luxembourg. So far. Who knows what we'll plan for the winter holidays? Welcome, welcome everyone. Please make yourselves at home. Some of the guests are idle, enjoying the warm, if not strange sunshine we're experiencing before gloomy skies inevitably return. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power, the ties that bind these individuals here, whether through convenience or necessity. However, there are also a few of them who are not here to further cement their current place in high society. Such as that young man with his oriental hair, ignorant of the looks he receives from women and men alike. Be careful with Shirley, alright? Or that rose-haired woman talking on her phone, while she looks unsure of why she's here exactly. Yes, I'm at the party already, Mum. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can. I see Zachary, the photographer, as well. He talks to a few of the other media crew with an air of familiarity. I was just here a few days ago. Yeah. Yeah, the inside is huge, but the staff is pretty helpful if you get lost. I had invited Father Norman too. It's the least I can do after he blessed the mansion on my request, aside from my small donation to the church, of course. Hold up, our relationship thing just changed, I think. Or maybe it was a journal? Here we are. Hannah and Marianne were discussing the amazing space you touched it before the house party one. Paying about. Alright. So that is the newest thing that we've come to. Got it. Oh, okay, there's multiple pages on certain days. Hannah pressured the agents to sell her the mansion. Alright. I won't bother with that right now. But before we get back to it, I just want to say that I think that if we had chosen to stay with the path where we kind of had scared Zachary off with our advances, then more than likely he wouldn't have showed up. That's just my guess. But the poor man had taken ill and went through a nervous breakdown of some sort the other day. And then there are people like the Chief Inspector. People who I can never be too sure about. People who stand on the border between being suspicious and being trustworthy. Thank you for the invite, Hannah. Husband still missing, I see. I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again? She told me she'll just be in the gardens. I bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies. No offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties. And aren't you gossiping right now? Yes, well, what about Luke? Shall we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours? He's around. You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and, not wanting a scandal, you've hidden his body. I was just wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too. It's a plate that holds a wine glass, so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches. Looks like it's too late for that. Nothing like that. Besides, this is hardly a polite conversation. Relax, I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead. The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough. Could use a glass of wine or 3, actually. Michelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out. Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy. I wouldn't know, would I? Still no plans for a baby. I guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge. Have I mentioned how I don't... fuck. Have I mentioned how I don't trust him no matter how hard I try to do so? At least you brought a gift, I suppose. Why don't you go inside and have some wine, Lee? Think I will. Thanks. Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each one of them. As the first hours pass us by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the porter instead. I have other duties to attend to now. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure guests are well fed, have good company, and have them generally enjoy themselves. So when my opening remarks are done, when the band has started to play, and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly unless I am pulled aside. For a while I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself, and when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. He wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more but to make music. One of our hotel managers is worried about the stolen belongings of one of his patrons, a failing insecurity which should be brought up to higher authority soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. Then there's that rose-haired woman once again. It's hard not to notice her with her distinctive looks. She also lacks the grace that the other ladies have, though that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and the air she exudes instead are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach, intrigued, although it is no great mystery what occupies her own attention, with the glances she keeps sending towards the boy with the oriental hair. She remains unaware, though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I am here for a drink. Oh yeah, because it's funny, because she likes Ash, but Ash and Isabella are kind of a thing. You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think? He didn't realise the housewoman was going to be like... He didn't realise the housewoman was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew. Oh, you're fine, Thierry. It's only really the parvenu, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he? The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by, and it is a wonder he doesn't hear what I say. Oh, Ash! You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend, then? Because that would explain those rejections. In all my life, I've never seen a face grow so red so fast. The shade of her hair did not help as well. This is the most pink I've seen on a person, really. But what? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend. Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it. And I haven't been looking at him. That's right, you've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like that because you want to kiss him or kill him. It's more of the latter currently. Just don't go marrying him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there. I waver as I feel the burning of someone's stares. It is chilling, and, though I am used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Uh-oh. Damn, motherfucker! My attention is pulled from the girl, and I see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty, she looks more like a beggar than a guest, and I have half the mind to call security at her with her mouth when her mouth breaks open into a grin. All I hear is her laughing, taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I'm nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then, in a blink, she's gone, and the buzz of the party returns. I'll keep that in mind, but are you alright? Yes. Sorry, I just thought I saw something strange. Must be a trick of the lights. Anyway, Hannah Wright, as you must already know. Rebecca Gales. Gales. The name is familiar, like a fond memory. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. She didn't bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, which I honestly hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them for me. Oh, the Professor! And your little Becky! My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now, and Mum says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me, little Becky. We met once before. Yes, oh, I remember you. You were the cutest little thing with glasses. And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A. What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adel, Albert, Andrew. The more I list off names, the more red and more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I've triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely I hadn't been mean when she visited her mother. I don't quite remember all of it. Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one! Oh my goodness me, after all these years! I can see why though. He's quite dashing. You don't really need to announce it to everyone within earshot, you know. Keep it down. I'm so sorry, but it really is cute. And a tad bit sad. So, this is a nice party, Miss Wright. Please, Hannah's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet. I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for. Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy end? The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sort of. I don't think you can just sit around trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it. But what do I know? There's a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly. I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what, 20 years? 17, actually. But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense. I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own, and... Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? It's not to be dense when you've sworn himself to another person. Why, you might as well just consider leaving before the day's even begun. If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans. It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice, when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you were giving me a makeover when we were still kids, and you were the first I told anyone about my... crush. I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow summer dress, or the pink blouse and petticoat? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering all of that years later, talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. It was so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Though, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at that time, enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moment, as I mull over what she said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There's no time to ponder over that, however, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. The music of strings and the chatter slows to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer opens. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago. And anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. So this can be only one person, or rather, one man. There's only one man who's audacious enough to arrive at his own party so late. Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party? I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion. Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to its presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks, how they listen, enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hands here, a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that if he's not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me, and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side and make my way to Luke's. Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allow the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. There was a round of applause, cheers, and even some hoots. Guests approached us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It's because of this that I did not see her. I did not see her until she's dangerously close, with fury in her eyes, and she's already spitting venom. Uh-oh. Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. But that does little to deter her rage, and the man has no choice but to let her go, lest an unborn child is hurt. Although it might be too late for that, as I see an empty glass of wine in her hand. How much has she embedded in? Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and... No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard, standing there with your swarmy smile! She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out amongst the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol on her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet. But I'm absolutely pissed off by the fact that she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. There's a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable. Watch your tongue. You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you? I did. And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What's even going on? I'm just about to ask that exact same thing. I don't know. But, Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying. Where is that husband of yours? Lee, collect your wife right now. Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and like you're not responsible, you ass. You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens. Excuse me, what is this nonsense you're going on about? Crazy talk, that's all it is. It's just complete and utter madness. Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector? I'm pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility. God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and then you do this to me. What? What do you mean you're pregnant with... Luke, is this true? Lies and slander, woman. Security, Johannes, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool out of herself. No, you do not get to do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oath of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby? Does she look like she can take care of a baby? It is now that Johannes returns with security, along with the concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he's heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. Not that I believe Rochelle. Luke would never... He'll never go so far as to sleep with another woman. Right? I'm so sorry for her behaviour. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking? Nothing to see here, people. Move along. Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Of course they're nothing but ramblings of a drunk. She's just jealous. Jealous of this wonderful marriage, this happily ever after that I have with my prince. Take that trollop out of here immediately, and see to it that she isn't allowed here or anywhere we hold in our authority in Luxembourg. To be banned from anything with the right name on it is basically social suicide. We practically own half of Luxembourg, and there isn't a single establishment of repute that isn't under our patronage one way or another. This is mercy. I can do much worse to her. At least this way she can just move out of the city and never, ever return. I have stayed in my hand in the face of her grievous fault, her bold-faced lies when she deserves so much more. I can take away her business, her factories have her factories shut down. It's too easy to ruin her life until she's just nothing. And it's all so tempting. I can only see red. The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is nearly deafening. There are worried and almost fearful glances from some of the guests, yet at the same time I still hear them whispering. But as long as I hold their tongues and don't interfere, none of those matter to me. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. It almost seems as if he's proud of what I've done, and that spurs me on even more than anything. Everyone, please go back to enjoying the party. Don't let that mess of a woman ruin your night. You heard her. Strike up the band, maestro, and let us dance like fireflies in the night. It takes a bit of the crowd to stir again in the face of all that. But like most problems of the elite, it is brushed under the rug and forgotten in favour of merriment. He offers his hand to me with a small smirk and a bow. Well, that was a mess, wasn't it? And you handled it magnificently. It happens. We are very important people, are we not? Milady, would you like to dance? With pleasure, my prince. No one is going to get in between me and my darling husband. Not Rochelle or any other rich, snooty scrubber. Not some common whore or an ambitious maid. No one is going to get near him in that matter. Not while I'm around. And if I have anything to say about it, no one is going to get near him at all. Oh, damn. Oh, let me save before I just leave. Boom, saved. Right? Let me make sure. Yeah. Alrighty. Talk about a fucking bomb. So, Inspector Lee, who we've been like, oh yeah, you know, he's trying to make advances on us, blah, blah, blah. It turns out that Luke and his wife have a baby together that we didn't even know about. Oh, Jesus. That's... Damn, dude. Oh, man, I feel so bad for Hannah. I really thought we could hash this out, but the point where you cheat on your wife, get another woman pregnant, and then just ghost that woman with both her husband and your own wife not knowing of this? I mean, it doesn't get more fucked up than that. I mean, Jesus Christ. Alright, I mean, I really did try and hold out some hope for Luke, but clearly that was for naught. Anyways, I mean, that's a crazy-ass way to end an episode. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you will be notified when one of those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.